Don't tell me that you are afraid of me, Barry. I heard you and your wife arguing over staying home just because of me. You are very funny and filled with drama.
This was after Julian left and I saw them off to the gate. It was when I stepped in I saw Zoe standing beside the door with only undies. I turned my face, ignored her and tried to walk past, but she quickly crossed over to me.
Yesterday could have been so much fun under the shower, but your wife interrupted us. Today, she is off to church with the kids, so we have the house to ourselves. Barry, stop trying to resist me, I mean no harm. My only offense is that I love you right from the first and second day in that Manchester hotel. Remember, I've wanted you ever since then. And I know deep down you also desire me, but you are afraid of your wife. I'm right in your home, a divine arrangement, can't you see? Just like I wanted, and presently, your wife is off to church with your kids. Let's have fun, because by tomorrow, your work will start, and it will be hard for us to meet, except if you decide to come over to my hotel. We have the house to ourselves now. This kind of opportunity comes only once.
Zoe, please stop it, I did not stay home for this. I love my wife, and I hate myself anytime I touch another woman who is not Julian. Stop making me do this. Enough is enough. This is my home. It was wrong of my wife to have invited you here, but since you are here already, please let's keep it cool. Julian almost caught me in the act yesterday. I died and woke up yesterday. Julian trusts you, and that is why she agreed for you to stay. This is so wrong, Zoe. You are not welcomed in my home if you are going to turn it into a brothel. I have kids which you already know, and I respect my wife. I hate myself for starting this at first.
I noticed the way you grabbed me yesterday. You desperately wanted me. You don't mean any of those things that you just said. Sweetie, you stayed home today because of me, but had to pull a stunt so that your wife will not suspect. You wanted me in your office, but Julian interrupted. You wanted me in your bathroom, but Julian interrupted, and now, finally we are alone. Your churchy and naive wife will not interrupt us because she is off to worship. Let's do our thing just like we did in Manchester, and just like yesterday. You enjoy me more than your wife, because I got good romantic action, and I know you can't resist.
Suddenly the door was kicked open and my wife stepped in. A silent scream left my mouth. I wanted the ground to open and swallow me, but everything was quiet and still. I looked at her, speechless. Every saliva in my mouth dried up. The kids were probably in the car, or outside. Julian stood by the door with a puzzled face, looking at me and Zoe. Who knows if she had been listening from outside the door. Zoe, who was naked, gracefully picked up her undies from the ground where she threw it. Julian was supposed to be off to church. I was expecting her arrival in the afternoon or evening. What is she doing here, and why did I forget to lock the door when I came in? It was all because of Zoe. Oh my God, I'm a dead man. I'm indeed doomed this time. Honey, I can explain. It's not what you think. I was not doing anything, I was just. The words got stuck again. I was pleading with Julian to hear me out, but she was very angry. At first, I thought she was going to pounce on Zoe and tear her into pieces, but Julian did not do that. Her main focus was on me, and it was not entirely my fault. Zoe pushed me into the act, and I made things worse by letting her into our home. After Zoe put her clothes back on, Julian stepped out and brought the kids in. She locked the exit door firmly, and took off the key, so no one would go out. She took the kids straight to their room, and got them busy with their favorite animation, then came out and closed their door. By this time, I thought Zoe had gone to get her things, so she could leave the house, but Julian had the keys. She left Zoe and me, and went back to our bedroom. Zoe came out with her things, but couldn't leave. I was afraid to go into the room to face Julian. She was probably crying or sobbing silently, because she never thought I would betray her the way I did. How could I even convince her and undo all my wrongs? How could I make it right again? A lot of things had already gone wrong, and might never go back to right. I finally summoned the courage to go to the bedroom, and my wife was neither crying nor sobbing. She just stood by the window, staring at nothing. Honey, it's not what you're thinking. When you stepped in, you can see that we were not doing anything. My clothes were still on. In fact, I was. Julian flew like a bee toward me, and the next thing was a hot, unimaginable slap on my face. I was still trying to recover from the first slap, when another one landed on the same cheek.
What do you take me for, Barry? You actually take me for a fool, right? I knew it, I just knew it that something was going on. Yesterday you acted so abnormal, and I was convinced something was going on between you and that Zoe. You took her to our matrimonial bed, and when you heard my voice, you decided to hide her in the bathroom yesterday, Barry.
That is not true. I did not bring her to our matrimonial bed. I was having my bath when she came in uninvited, and came straight to the bathroom. I never asked her to.
Shut up, Barry. You. I thought you were different. I was ready to swear with my life that my so-called husband was different from other men who mess around outside marriage. I trusted you, Barry, how could you? I smelled a rat between both of you, and decided to set the trap, and boom, you were both caught in my rat trap. I heard almost everything she said to you from outside the door. I knew one way or the other I would come to the truth, and it came sooner than expected. Barry, you allowed me to bring your side chick home for you. You watched me bring her home without saying anything. I thought she was your colleague who needed help to get around London after meeting her in your office. Oh Barry, you are evil. What kind of man will do such to his family? To his own wife? Only a terrible, heartless man like you. I exposed our kids to her in our home to a serpent I thought was human. You wanted her to kill me and my children, so that she could have you, right? God has exposed all your secrets. I will personally kill her with my bare hands. She messed with the wrong person. And you, Barry, you will not be spared.
Julian, please, I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you earlier about Zoe, but I was afraid of the outcome. And this is what I feared most. I met Zoe in Manchester some months back, and I regret setting my eyes on her ever since. I did not invite her to London or to my office. She came by herself and found her way to my office.
And you slept with her in your office? Oh yes, you actually did, Barry. You are a big disgrace to the good and faithful men out there. Her hotel and your office were not enough. You allowed me to bring her home, and were so happy when you saw her here. If you were remorseful of your dirty acts, you would have asked Zoe to leave our home, but you never did. Instead, you continued from where you left off, right under our roof. In our home, Barry.
Honey, I was not happy having Zoe in our home. I tried to warn you, I did. You actually allowed her in without informing me. I was afraid I might ask her to leave, and she would decide to expose me. Julian, I did not take Zoe to bed. She came to meet me in our bathroom before you came back. I was afraid you would never forgive me. I could have confessed on time. I'm deeply sorry, honey, please forgive. Julian walked out without listening to my plea. I followed her. She went to the kitchen, grabbed a long wooden spatula, and rushed to where Zoe sat with her legs crossed, and her bag beside her. Julian descended on Zoe with full rage. They began to fight, and I knew Julian would beat the hell out of Zoe. She hit and kept hitting Zoe, who tried to defend herself, but Julian overpowered her. Zoe was shouting my name to save her from Julian. The children came out of their rooms to watch the fight. I sent them back, and ordered them not to come out. Julian hit Zoe with the wooden spatula, until Zoe fell to the chair. I tried to stop the fight. Julian turned to me with a finger. She started hitting me with the painful dry wood.
You came to save your side chick. You are a shameless man, Barry.
Julian hit me until my hands and head were bruised. She kept calling me names. All I wanted was for her to stop, so Zoe could leave the house. It was better for Zoe to leave, than to injure her out of anger. Julian did not listen. She went back to Zoe with full force and descended heavily on her.
You had the guts to come into my home without fear and try to take over my territory. You should have asked around first before getting into the lion's den. Indeed, you must be Lucifer, or a lunatic to have boldly stepped into this house, after all your useless and dirty acts with my husband. You thought I was naive and stupid, and would never find out what was going on under my nose. Oh, think again, Lucifer, because I will deal with you. I will wash, squeeze and iron you today, so that you will never in your life again prey on married men. You will never ever in your life go after married men, or even come near their homes. Barry, save me from your crazy wife. Barry, Julian, let me go. I will arrest you for attacking me. Unlock the door so that I can leave. I'm probably pregnant for your husband, and I don't deserve this harsh treatment. Stop, get away from me, stop hitting me with that. It was your husband that invited me over to London. He complained of how bad you were in bed, and needed me to make him happy. I did what I had to do so that you won't bore him to death. You should be thanking me instead of attacking me. Barry cannot do without me. He loves and cherishes me far more than you. Yes, he told me so.
I felt like joining Julian to deal with Zoe. She was lying. I desperately wanted Zoe out of my home, but Julian was so determined and did not let go. Despite Zoe's screams, Julian kept hitting her with the spatula.
Oh, thank you, lunatic Lucifer. With your magic finger and sexy body you saved my dear husband from boredom. I did not bore him to death, all thanks to you. But I will make sure you will never forget this day. I will help you abort any sign of pregnancy. You thought this is Manchester. You left your peaceful abode and came all the way down to London to look for a married man. How shameless can you be, even coming into his home where he lives with his family? Ha ha ha, you are doomed, Lucifer.
Julian kept hitting, until Zoe couldn't fight or scream again. Her voice became faint. I begged Julian to let her go, but she refused. Zoe was bleeding, and her body was battered with wounds. I thought she had passed out when I no longer heard any scream, but Julian did not stop battering her. The wooden spatula broke into two on Zoe's body. Julian then resorted to throwing hard punches, and hitting her with the broken stick. I had to rush and pull Julian up from a lifeless Zoe. She turned to me and began another round of attack on me. I begged her to stop. She had probably killed Zoe, who was still bleeding on the ground, but Julian said she didn't care, and that she would kill her and me too, if she had a gun. Julian later walked back to the room. I searched for the keys to unlock the door. I had to use my spare keys and open it. I touched Zoe, and she was still breathing, but too weak to get up. I took my car key and carried Zoe out to my car, before Julian could come out and finish what she started. If Zoe dies, it will be on my head, because I brought all this trouble into my home. Some things could have been avoided. A few minutes of enjoyment with her in Manchester had turned into a nightmare. I should have confessed to Julian when I had the time. It may have taken time for her to forgive me, but she would eventually, and none of this would have escalated to this extent. What have I done? God, please don't let Zoe die in my hands. Help Julian to forgive me and restore my once happy home back to normal. I beg your forgiveness and mercy over me. Please have mercy on me, Lord. Zoe was admitted to the hospital, and treatment commenced immediately. She was stable before I left and walked back to my car. I called Dave and told him what had been going on. I told him that Julian almost killed Zoe, and Julian may never forgive me for what I did. I defiled our home, broke her trust, and lied to her. I told Dave if not for the fear of losing my wife, I could have taken his advice, and told Julian everything when I still had the time. Things wouldn't have gone out of hand like the present situation. My mind is at rest partially because Zoe will be fine, the doctor said so, but I'm still in the hospital premises, and afraid to go home to my wife, because she is hot-tempered right now, and may unleash terror on me, just like she did with Zoe. Dave was surprised at how things escalated. He asked me to relax, that everything would be fine, and my home would be restored again. Dave was trying to encourage me, but I doubt if anything will ever be fine. I decided to send messages to Julian first, apologizing for everything, and pleading for her forgiveness, even if it is for the sake of our kids. I sent different apology messages to my wife's phone, and hoped she would be calm enough by the time I got home. I sat in my car for some time, thinking of how shambled my life had become. I later drove back home in the night. I sighted Zoe's bag beside the dustbin wheel bucket, located outside the house. Julian must have thrown it there out of anger. I picked up the bag and put it in a safer place, far from the dustbin. As I walked straight to the door, I found it locked with a key. I unlocked it with my spare key before going inside. My heartbeat had not stopped racing since morning. I shook inwardly at the thought of facing Julian again tonight. I kept thinking how I was going to make it right, but couldn't come up with anything reasonable. I was hoping all the messages I sent to her would do a little magic for me. Julian can be difficult when she wants to be. Even things that aren't supposed to matter much she usually takes to heart. This was a heavy offense, and I don't know if she will ever forgive and forget. The whole house felt so quiet when I walked in. I went straight to the kids' room first, but they were not there. I rushed to our bedroom, nobody was there. No sign of Julian or the kids. Clothes were scattered from the wardrobes to the bed. There was a box of clothes on the bed too. My heart was caught in my mouth, as different thoughts crossed my mind. What if Julian had carried the kids and traveled to a place where I can't reach her? What if she went to her family house, which is in another state far from London? I checked the visitors' room, the kitchen, and every corner of the house, as I kept shouting my wife's and kids' names, but no response came. I was almost going crazy as I tried to reach her. I tried calling her over the phone, but she wasn't picking up. I knew she was not going to pick, but I decided to try anyway, and it was as I thought. I tried calling again as I moved towards our room, and then I heard a phone ringing inside. I rushed in and followed the sound. The phone was under a pile of clothes on the bed. She probably forgot it there. I was destabilized. I didn't even know where to look for her and the kids. I didn't want to get her family or mine involved. All the blame would be on me. I felt so ashamed of myself already. I know what I did, and I don't need a reminder of my sins. What have I done to myself? My family is scattered, and may not be able to survive this. I was broken, weak and powerless. I wiped a tear from my eyes. I never bargained for any of the things that happened. It was just a small mistake, and I thought what happens in Manchester stays in Manchester, but the devil wore clothes and shoes and traveled all the way down to London. The devil crept right into my home in the form of Zoe, and tried to destroy my 8 years of marriage. My wife and kids are gone, and I don't know where to look for them. No sign or note of where they might have traveled to. I decided to call Dave, my only bosom friend who understands, advises, and encourages me at every stage of my shattered life. Dave was not only my friend, he was a barrister, a man who loved and cared for his family. He was faithful to his wife, and also God-fearing. Hello Dave, Julian is gone. I came home from the hospital and met the house empty. She is gone with the kids. I don't even know where to go and look for her. I'm a dead man walking, Dave. I have lost it all. My wife has left me. And she will never forgive me. I know I made a mistake, but I never once invited Zoe to London. Julian caught us unaware in the office, and Zoe pulled her act, and they became friends. I hated such closeness, and tried to warn my wife, but Julian never listened to me. She said she just wanted to be nice to my colleague. She thought Zoe was a junior staff member in the office. I was shocked the day I came back and met Zoe in my home. I asked Julian why she did not even inform me, and she gave another excuse. Dave, I never bargained for any of this. I was trying to escape from Zoe, but my wife was making it so hard. I'm not shifting the whole blame on her. If I did not sleep with Zoe back in Manchester, all this wouldn't have been. I feel so sorry. I love my wife and my kids dearly. I love my family, and I will give up anything just to have them back. I wish I could undo what I have done. I wish I had not cheated on my wife. Dave, I'm a walking corpse because I live for my family. They are the reason I work so hard and smile often. If they are no more, what is the point of living? I don't know where to look for Julian or the kids. I don't know, Dave. I don't. I broke down and wept like a child. I could hear Dave speaking. I guess he put the call on speaker, but I didn't care. Emotion weighed at my throat. Everything and everyone are against me. I know God must be angry with me right now. I don't know exactly where Julian went with the kids, leaving her phone behind. Where will I go now to look for them?
Barry. Is okay. It was a grave mistake not just from you, but from everyone involved in this. You set the fire, and your wife fanned the coal, even without knowing. Something worse could have happened to Zoe, or anyone else. Zoe took the highest risk by making friends with your wife, and coming into your home without any sign of remorse. But Barry, you had the larger share. I still wonder what you were looking for in another woman. Julian got it all for you, Barry. She was a good wife and caring mother who does not joke with her home. Think about the peace of mind when you are with your wife in bed, and the guilt and troubled mind when you are with a strange woman. Which will you prefer? I know you are only an imperfect human filled with mistakes. I also believe that everyone has learned their lessons. Calm down, Barry, everything will be alright. Drive out to my place. I'm home with my family, do not panic, and please drive carefully. Come over right now. I will be waiting for you.
I sat on the chair sobbing for some time, before stepping out again. I drove out that night to Dave's place. He was at the door when I arrived. He ushered me inside his sitting room, while patting my back and trying to calm me down. Immediately I stepped into his parlor. My wife and kids were seated right in Dave's living room. My son was asleep. My daughter was sitting quietly beside her mother. I guess she was also feeling sleepy, because the time was already 9 p.m. It was past their bedtime. I looked back at Dave wondering how he managed to bring my wife and kids to his house. Dave's wife came out of the room and greeted me. I responded quietly. She looked at me like an unfaithful man, before asking Julian if she could take the kids inside to the children's room, but Julian declined, and said she would soon be leaving. Dave's wife looked at me again suspiciously. I was cautious of her eyes. She must have heard what I did and felt disappointed. She may even tell her husband not to associate himself with me again. It may have been innocent eyes, but ever since I started having this guilt feeling, I read meaning into people's reactions towards me. She came to ask if she could offer me anything. Despite being hungry and thirsty, I declined the offer. Julian angrily looked at me from head to toe. It was well expected. I managed to dodge her bomb eyes by taking a seat beside Dave, who sat in between Julian and I. Dave later took me outside.
I know you are probably wondering how I got your wife and kids to my place. Well, I needed to do what I had to do because I can't watch your home get razed down. I just can't sit and do nothing while your home gets destroyed. After you called me from the hospital to inform me about what happened, I had to quickly drive down to your place. Julian was packing her things. She said she wanted to take her kids somewhere else, because she doesn't want to set eyes on you ever again. She said you actually took Zoe to the hospital, even after what happened. Julian was lamenting angrily as she gathered her clothes into a box. Your wife said since you have decided to choose Zoe over her and the kids, she will do the needful by going somewhere else to cool off her head. She can't live in the same house with you, not after what you did. I had to talk to her, and showed her how she also contributed to what happened. I told her how much of a battle you have been fighting to stay away from Zoe, and also confessed to her. Barry, I just thanked God I arrived at the right time to still meet Julian at home. I asked her to come over to my place with the kids, and she could still leave after that, if she felt the need to do so. I took her and the kids to my place. She was really angry, and couldn't stop talking all through the drive to my place. Even after we stepped into my house, she was still raging. At a point, she broke down and started crying. She still couldn't believe that you would hurt her the way you did. She wept bitterly. Both I and my wife were there to console her. I put each of your calls on loudspeaker, just for her to listen, and see how sorry you are, Barry. She was calm enough before you came. I did not want to tell you at first that your family was with me. I wanted to see your reaction, and to put your sober calls on speaker for Julian to hear you. Give your wife time. She will eventually forgive. She is hurting right now, and needs time to heal up. Don't rush her or force forgiveness down her throat. Love and care for her, even more now than before. Let her see through your action that you are truly sorry. Barry, you have to be careful too. You started this whole thing. It was funny at first, but not anymore. You have to make it right. My wife also spoke with Julian. So relax, your wife will not leave you, I'm certain of that, but if she ever wants to, please inform me on time. It won't be easy, but everything will be alright.
I thanked Dave. I'm deeply in his debt. Dave went back inside and spoke to Julian for some time. I waited outside as he asked me to. When he asked me to come in, I did, and tried to kneel and apologize to Julian again, but she turned her face, tapped my daughter who was sleeping awake. I stood, carried my sleeping son to the car after thanking Dave and his wife. Julian was already inside the car with my daughter. I entered and drove off. We returned back to the house in silence. Julian and I lived like strangers. She hated me close to her. I had to move to the visitor's room. I came back home very early from work every day, and tried to assist in any way necessary. I still dropped money for the house upkeep every day, made dinner for the house, but Julian didn't eat my food, or touch anything that belonged to me. She distanced herself from me. Dave kept in touch, and asked me if there was any improvement, but even after 2 weeks, Julian was still the same. Dave said that I should be patient and give her more time, and that was what I did. Zoe was discharged from the hospital. She said she was going to sue me and my wife, because we made her lose her pregnancy, and almost killed her after inviting her to our home. Zoe kept threatening brimstone and thunder on what she was going to do to me and my wife. I told her to go and thank God for giving her a second chance to live. Even if she tries to take us to the court of law, she was still at fault for traveling all the way down, and coming straight to my home, oblivious to my dear wife who never knew what her agenda was. I returned her bag, paid off different debts for her, and still gave her enough money for her to travel back to Manchester. She said she wasn't going back to Manchester until she got her own pound of flesh. Zoe said she wanted to be pregnant for me, and was almost pregnant, but Julian made her lose her pregnancy, and she would never forgive me or Julian for that. The pregnancy plan didn't make one single sense to me, or her reason for desperately wanting to be pregnant for me. The only way she said she could forgive and drop all charges is if I paid her one more visit at her hotel room. I left her after she collected the cash compensation gift I gave just for her to return to Manchester. Zoe was the last person I wanted to be seen close with. Since she doesn't want to go back to Manchester until she gets her revenge, then good luck to her. I will have to report her to the police first, so that whatever happens to her is none of my or my family's business. And if she decides to take the case up, Dave is a barrister, he will know better how to handle Zoe's case. I believe she will never get close to my home again. I don't know how she intends to get back at me or Julian for beating her up, and making her lose an invisible baby. I have done what I had to do. Treated her at my expense, paid her hotel and hospital accumulated bills, and still gave her money to travel back to her base. I can't do more than this for her, or agree to what she is asking of me. If she hasn't learned her lessons, I have learned mine, and I'm trading safe now. Whatever the case may be, all I want is for her to keep her distance from me and my entire family. Why can't this girl leave me alone? I'm trying so hard to make it right again. I have settled her even without owing her a dime. The police served her a restraining order after her several threats on me and my family. I don't want to take any of her threats like a pinch of salt. Dave advised me not to take the threats lightly, and that I should block her number from my phone after serving her the order. She signed the papers but did not stop sending nudes and romantic messages to my phone. Julian must not see or hear any of this. I have been trying to make her forgive me, and she is gradually coming around after 2 months. I don't want anything that will make her see me as an enemy. I know it is difficult for her to totally forgive, but I kept praying and hoping that she would fully come around. After Zoe signed the restraining order, she reduced her disturbance, but after 2 weeks, she continued.
Barry, it's not about signing rubbish form to keep me away from you and the family, it's about what you and your wife did to me. I will get my pound of flesh, and none of you will be spared. I will get a lawyer to take this up for me. Julian attacked me and made me lose my pregnancy. You stood and watched her beat me up with different weapons, and you did nothing. Barry, you encouraged her until I passed out, and almost died in the process. The child I could have had for you is also gone, and you want me to keep calm and do nothing. I will never do that. I will get back at every member of your family. The only way I can drop all these charges, and let you and your family be in peace, is for you to come over to my hotel room. Touch me like you did back in Manchester that made me crave for more. I want you, Barry, and I almost died because of you. So you are owing me big time, and the only way to make it up to me is by coming to be with me in my hotel.
That evening, I drove to mine and Dave's usual hangout joint. I showed him the messages that Zoe had been sending to me, asking me to come over to her hotel. Dave asked me why I had refused to block her from reaching me, but I didn't have an answer for that. Probably I forgot to do that, or I was occupied with other things, and did not remember.
Are you serious right now, Barry? What are you still keeping her number for? End everything you have with this lady and focus on your family. You have shown her enough kindness. You owe her nothing again, and she will never do anything to you, or any members of your family, because of the restraining order that she signed. I have asked you before to block her line, and any means she uses to reach you. I don't understand why you have not done that. Julian is still finding it difficult to come around, and now that she is gradually showing the signs, don't do anything again that will discourage her, or make her want to leave you, or the marriage. No one and nothing else matters more now than your wife and kids. Zoe, or whatever her name is just a distraction. Stop letting her get to you. Or is there more to all this that you aren't telling me?
Dave asked me the last question as if he no longer trusted me as his friend. I assured him that there was nothing, and I was going to block Zoe right away. I took my phone and blocked Zoe's number immediately, right in front of Dave. I didn't hear anything from her after then. It's been 2 whole months, and I have missed my wife. Julian was still acting cold towards me, but she had started serving my food again on the dining table. She sometimes helped with my laundry and ironing, but she hardly spoke to me. Even when I spoke to her, she found it difficult to reply. I thanked her for every one of her kindnesses, even when she didn't reply. I moved back to our bedroom, and was hoping she wouldn't take offense. I have kept my distance for over 2 months now, but I desire my wife, and want things to be back to normal. As I moved back to our master bedroom, she walked out to sleep in the visitor's room instead. I tried to plead again and beg her to return to the room, but Julian can be very difficult, and she did not reply to me. We have lived like 2 strangers far too long, and I can't bear it anymore. The following night I tried to persuade and plead again. Honey, I know my sins are heavy, and I don't deserve your love or forgiveness, but please, for the sake of our children, I beg of you in the name of God that we both serve to try and forgive. It is getting to 3 months that we have lived like enemies. I can't bear it anymore, honey. Give me another chance. I will never betray you ever again. You believe in God who is ever loving and forgiving. Why can't you forgive me, Julian? Please, honey, I promise to make it right if you will let me.
Barry, if I was the one at fault, if I slept with another man even right under our roof, I'm very sure you would never look at me again. I may even be back at my parents' house by now, and everyone who cares to listen would know what I did. Either you send me out of the house, or you leave the house for me. Barry, people who live in glass houses do not throw stones. What you can't tolerate, don't do to another. Please leave God and religion out of this. If you had thought of God before all your dirty acts, I'm sure we wouldn't be having this conversation. All I ask is to be left alone. I don't know how to love or trust you anymore. I'm trying so hard, but finding it difficult. Forgiveness doesn't come cheap. I don't care how many months or years it takes me to heal. I just want you to let me be in peace, that's all I ask. There is nothing you do or buy that will undo what you have done. Even if the wounds heal up, the scar will serve as a reminder. Maybe it would have been better to get a divorce and move away, Father.
I hushed her from saying her last statement. My eyes were getting soiled up. Gaining forgiveness from Julian was proving far more difficult. Why would she mention divorce? I detest such words. God forbid that my wife should separate from me. Before she completed her last sentence, I rushed to her and pulled her into my arm. She was struggling, slapping and hitting me to let her go. I held on to her. I told her she was my life, and I'm a walking corpse without her. If she refuses to forgive me, then I would be better dead than alive. I pleaded, and did not allow her slaps or struggle to get to me. I just wanted my wife again. I want my home back. My daughter asked me the other day why her mommy was not talking to me, and why I was not friends again with her. I couldn't even answer the question. I ended up telling her that I hurt their mom, and wish she would forgive me someday. My little daughter promised to help me beg her on my behalf. I know she must have done that, but Julian's heart is so hard. Dave and his wife have pleaded, and I have done everything within my power to make my wife let go of my sins, and yet nothing. I can't keep calm and watch her get fed up one day, and finally walk out of the marriage. That will shatter my home. I want my wife back. Julian kept hitting and later began to sob in my arm. She was cursing and calling me names for hurting her, and all I did was plead. I did not stop. I was in tears too as I held her. She cursed and abused me while still sobbing. After some time, she became quiet, and I let her go. I tried to wipe off the tears running down her face, but she slapped off my hand, and went into the bathroom to cry more. I sat on the bed holding my head and praying that Julian would find it in her heart to forgive. It is more than 2 months already that we are living as strangers. I can't take it anymore. When she came out, I was still there. I stood not knowing what to say or do again. If she didn't want me in the room, I would quietly return to the visitor's room, but I wanted to be with my wife, hold her all through the night. I wanted to assure and show her that I meant to keep my vows this time. She got ready for bed, and I was still standing, hoping this night would be different. She went straight to bed, and put off the light. I thought of moving to the bed, but things are not as they used to be. I was scared of offending her. I didn't want to sleep alone in the visitor's room again. I gradually walked to our matrimonial bed, and sat down first just to see her reaction. Julian did not say anything, or make a move to leave. I gently climbed up the bed, and kept my distance without a word, or touch. It seemed funny, but I tried to keep it cool for some time. I moved closer to my wife gently, placing a hand on her body first. When she did not slap off my hands like she would do before, I took that for a yes. For the first time in 2 months, Julian did not push me away. Zoe has tried to destroy me and my marriage, but God is remolding the crack that I allowed the devil to create on the wall of my home. When I woke up that morning and checked my phone, I saw a message with a strange number. I knew who sent it. I quickly blocked the number. I wanted to talk to Julian about it, because I don't want to keep any secrets from her again, but that may be opening a fresh wound and making her remember what she is trying to forget. I know Zoe is still in London, waiting and hoping I will come to her hotel, but that will never happen. That will be digging my grave. I will keep blocking every new number that she uses to reach me. I'm happy at least Julian is coming around, and I will make sure no devil in the form of Zoe will come between us. Julian was not fully out. Her restriction and withdrawal was glaring. Some days is hard for her to look at my face and talk to me, and other days I watch her become the woman that she used to be. I understand her plight, and kept wishing I can change back the hand of time, and turn down my urge to be with another woman. A mistake I will forever regret. Julian was right when she asked me the bitter but true question. If I happen to catch her making out with another man, or having a secret affair, will I accept her and forgive easily? Such a thing will break me into pieces, that's the truth. I may not be able to forgive her for such an act, or even lay with her without feeling disgusted. I know she was seriously trying to let go of the sins on my head, but what if the table was turned? Will I still be able to call her my wife? Society always asks the woman to forgive a cheating husband, and move past it, but condemn the woman if she is involved in such act. I don't blame Julian whichever way she chose to treat me, all I ask is for her not to leave me. Julian may be hardened if she is pushed to the wall, but beyond that, is a sweet, loving, and caring wife and mother. She wanted to work initially when we got married, and insisted in doing that. I allowed her for the first year until she became pregnant with our first child. I stopped her from working, and asked her to be a stay-at-home mom. The money I was making was enough to take care of my family. I don't want to trouble my wife, or watch her quickly grow old because of stress. She agreed to do as I said. I cherish her so much, and another truth is that she completes me. Home feels good when a woman is happy. Coming back home for the past few months, ever since Julian found out about me and Zoe, coming home has been so boring and lonely. I don't get to talk and laugh with my wife like we used to do. I watch her from the sitting room or dining go about her normal duty, and I will start wishing she will look towards me and smile like she used to do before. I talk and play with my kids when I'm bored, and I also watch television until I feel sleepy and go straight to the visitor's room. Those first 3 months was like hell on earth, but I thank God everything is gradually changing. Julian deserved to be angry, because I could have done more than been angry if I was in her shoe. I served my silent punishment within those months, but is over now. I have moved back to the master bedroom. She doesn't chase me off, or leave the room at my presence. It's been a long time I saw her laugh, but I know as little by little, she will become herself again. I kept blocking Zoe with each new number she uses to reach me. One day after work, as I was driving out of my company gate, I saw her. Zoe was waiting for me outside the gate because the security wouldn't let her in, and she can't reach me again over the phone.
Barry, why are you been so heartless and wicked? Despite I almost died in your house. You supposed to show me love and care, but instead, you distance yourself from me as if I'm the devil. What if I was pregnant for you? Is this how you will still treat me and my child?
Why will you even be pregnant for me, Zoe? Did I ever complain to you that my wife was a barren woman, and can't give me children? Listen, even if Julian has not been able to give me a child, I will still keep hoping and waiting until the set time comes, and if God decide otherwise, we will adopt kids, but I will never come to you for children, because you are self-centered and a heartless human being. Yes, Zoe, you go for whatever makes you happy, and do not care who gets hurt in the process. I ended things with you in Manchester, but you found your way down to London, and to my home. You brought disaster to my home, and almost succeeded in setting it up on fire. Do you think if Julian leaves me I will come for you? The answer is never. Even if it takes me a decade or more to plead or earn her forgiveness, I will certainly do that because she is a good woman. You are a lady with sense, stop acting foolish. Zoe, you are obviously wasting your time here in London, because I will never give you a second look. And for your information, I and my wife are cool, and I don't hide anything from her again. I show her all the nudes and messages you sent to my phone, and we both laugh at your foolishness together. She goes through my phone and blocks your every new number by herself. If she sees you close to me or close to my home, sorry will be your second name. This time around, you may not return to Manchester in perfect shape, because you are invading a private property after signing a restraining order to stay away from me and my family. You are breaking the law, and can be jailed if I return back to the police station to tell them that you have refused to let me and my family to be in peace. I can even show proof with the nudes and messages which you have been sending to me with different numbers. Now, listen to me carefully, Zoe. If I set my eyes on you this week, or you send another senseless message to me again, Zoe, I will get you arrested in jail, and make sure they deal with you inside the cell until your skin starts falling off. You have crossed your boundary enough, and I have tolerated your excesses. I have been nice to you by footing your bills, and even giving you enough money that will get you to Manchester, and you can use the remaining for shopping. I have done that, but it seems that your desperate self will not rest until my home is destroyed. Now watch me destroy you in the same manner. You can't be dumb and heartless at the same time. I meant every word that I just said, and if you doubt me, try me, or come anywhere close to me or mine. This is not just a threat, you should really take everything I said to heart, because I meant every word.
Barry, you are so heartless and very wicked. My God will punish you and that your wife. It will not be well with you, Barry, for treating me like trash. I will return to Manchester this weekend, because waiting for you to come around is a waste of my precious time. And if you ever set foot in Manchester, and I happen to know about it, I will come and deal with you myself, or get boys who will mess you up. I know if I stand naked before you, it will be hard for you to resist me. Or are you not the same Barry again that had me to your satisfaction in Manchester, almost did in your office and right in your bathroom? Stop sounding like a motivational speaker, because you will still fall into my arm if you are given the opportunity. It's hard to say no to somebody like me, and for the record, I'm irresistible. The sad truth is that I loved you, and it was what drove me down to London. I don't go risking my life for a man, but I did it for you, thinking you are a human being. I wanted to have your child and keep you close to my heart. I have never done that for any man before, or expose myself to danger like I did with you. I can see you don't worth it. You are blind, and will never find a woman who deeply loves you like I do. Even your wife can't even be compared. Is your lose, Barry, and I will return to Manchester and get over you. You don't worth my time or my life. You are just a bunch of some useless London men who do not appreciate true love. Please, can I get some money from you, and I also won't mind if you will be kind enough to drop me at my hotel, or close to my hotel.
Everything you just said is recorded in this phone, and I will be taking this to the CSP of police, both the one in charge of London and Manchester. If you are still here by next week, you will be arrested, Zoe, and I will be very glad to watch them torture you, so that next time when you see a man, you will leap carefully. I smiled before winding up my car glass, while she was trying to say something. I zoomed off, leaving her standing there. After insulting me, she still wanted me to drop her off at her hotel, or somewhere close to her hotel. Zoe was even asking me for another money, after spending the huge amount I gave her before to travel back. Zoe must be insane. I drove off and stopped at a supermarket to pick up some things for the house, and also bought one of Julian's favorite drink and snacks. Julian was watching a television program with the children when I returned. The kids ran to me and gave me a welcome home hug. My wife was laughing from the television skits that she was watching. She turned and looked up at me before telling me a cold welcome. I asked what the show was all about. I just wanted to hear her talk to me. She started explaining the comedy skit, and I have to put a show of laughter too, even though deep down it wasn't so funny. The kids were also trying to explain another version before Julian stood and said to my daughter,
"Go ahead and explain to your daddy, let me get his food ready."
I handed her the bag containing her favorite drink and snacks. She took a peek inside the bag and thanked me, before walking to the kitchen. I went to the room, entered the bathroom, and had a cool shower. When I came out, Julian was in the room folding cloths. I went to hug her.
You smell so nice and fresh, Barry.
Honey, you smell like onions mixed with sweat. Just joking, honey.
I will freshen up before going to bed. Cooking and doing a few other things got me all sweaty.
Give me the privilege of bathing you like my baby. Please, please.
Come on, Barry, I'm not a child. I will do that when I'm done with every chores. Your food is set on the dining, go and have your dinner.
Dinner can wait, and I will help with every chore that needs to be done tonight. Just be my Jenny, and grant me my first wish. She was about saying something else, when I swept her into my arm, and moved to the bathroom. It was a refreshing evening, and we later retired that night to bed. I tried to open up to her concerning Zoe, because I promised never to keep secrets, or hide anything from her. At first, she didn't want to hear about it, but she later listened, and even asked me if I gave Zoe the money she was asking for. I assured her that I did not. I drove off, and left her standing. Julian gasped out before going silent. I can still see her struggle, but we are becoming a great partner to each other again, and I know it is a matter of time. We will be in our best as always. Zoe went back to Manchester, and I never heard from her again. Within the following year, I have traveled to Manchester twice, and returned back to my family in peace. I have never seen or heard from Zoe ever since I saw her last outside my office gate. It has been over a year, and in 3 months' time it will be 2 good years that Zoe became history. My family is flourishing every day. What could I have done without Dave, my good friend, who showed me great support when I needed him? My loving and understanding wife, who I vow with my life never to hurt again. My amazing and smart kids. They are one of my biggest blessings. My wife is not yet 100% her usual self. I don't expect to get her fully back after betraying her love and trust. It may take a miracle for that to happen, but I'm grateful for her progress. Her restriction ban is lifted off, and I'm happy about that. I await more of her love and trust for me to resurface again. I'm a man who broke my vow, failed my wife, and disappointed those who believed in me, but I refused to remain on the ground. I found myself back up, and I'm standing again, and will remain standing. I will never disrespect the bone of my bone like I did before. I learned my lesson in a bitter way.